Hi everyone! Welcome to another video-based material for our class. I hope you are ready to learn and have fun with your writing class from home. There will be two topics to cover this time. The first topic is about how to find suitable sources for your ideas developing, and the second one is about developing critical approaches in sources reading. And here are your learning goals for today's session. Finding sources for writing is important, but using unreliable sources will hurt your credibility and make your arguments seem less powerful. It is important to be able to identify which sources are reliable. By doing this, you actually can assess their value for your work. Basically, you can use this checklist to help your evaluation process. First, who writes the text? Are they written by researchers or scholars in the discipline? Second, what information do they contain? Do they contain an abstract which summarizes key points? Next is, what do they provide? Is there any evidence of research findings? Fourth, how did the writer enrich the text? Are there any citations and a reference list? And the last is, how are the writing styles used in the source? Are they written in a formal writing style and use specific terminology? There are 5 factors in evaluating your sources: their depth, objectivity, currency, authority, and purpose. The first is the depth of coverage of the information. Keep in mind that a complete consistent source may still only give a light overview of the important information. In many cases, you will need to have more than just a simple overview of information in order to connect relevancy to your topic. You will also need to know whether or not the information you are using biased in any way. If so, does the bias affect the conclusions of the research? Check again everything to make sure that the information does not come from a source that will profit from a particular point of view because it may not be reliable to use. Another thing is for you to check the proper citation used to enrich the source. The more citations from reliable sources used, the more credible it will be. The next factor is checking out how up-to-date the information is. Know when it was written. In academic purposes, the reliable research is commonly taken from the past 5 or 10 years. Knowing the author will also good for you. That way, you can know the author's degree in the field or even reputation he or she has. Note that scholarly articles tend to have multiple authors. The last one is to determine the purpose of the source. You might relate this to who the intended audience is. Reliable research articles are usually very specific in nature and relate to a very specific field. Using reading lists from your lecturer or relevant sources can be helpful in finding sources for your writing. There might be a printed reading list or maybe available online through the library website. The list will usually include textbooks, journals, articles, and websites. You do not have to read every word of a book because it is on the list. Try to find the keywords that are related to your topic. Another approach you can try is using library websites to search electronic resources. E-journals and other electronic resources, such as subject databases, are becoming increasingly important nowadays. Since they can be accessed by computer from anywhere, it will be easier for you in saving the need to visit the library and find the text. You can just try to enter the name of a specific article or title or any relevant articles based on your topic from your online campus library site, even from home. Now, let's move to the next discussion. There are 6 topics you will learn in developing critical approaches in sources reading. The first is about reading methods. It is a fact that reading articles or any sources in foreign language is not easy to do. There are new vocabulary and phrases, and even different writing styles that is sometimes hard to understand. Let us learn from the following techniques to find and deal with reading texts. 1. Read intensively to make notes on key points. 2. Scan text for information you need. And 3. Analyze text features. The second topic is about titles, subtitles, and text features. Many books and articles have both a title and a subtitle, just like presented in the example. The title is usually shorter. The subtitle often gives more information about the focus. After finding a relevant text, it is worth checking the following text features before starting to read. It helps because text features include all the components of an article that are not the main body of the text. Reading abstracts can help your critical approach as well. Abstracts are normally found in journal articles. It is a kind of summary to enable researchers to decide if it is worth reading the full article. As a student, you will not normally have to write abstracts, but it is important to be able to read them effectively to save your time and energy in finding the relevant sources to use. Moving to the next approach, it is important to distinguish between facts and opinions when reading. If suggestions are made in academic writing, it is important that they are supported by true facts. Assessing internet sources critically is very important in selecting your sources. You cannot afford to waste time on texts that are unreliable or out of date. You need to ensure that the material is trustworthy. Internet sources are plentiful and conveniently available, but you need to ask several questions about each site. Is this a reputable website? Is the name of the author given, and is he or she well known in the field? Is the language of the text in suitable academic style? And are there any obvious errors in the text like spelling mistakes which suggest a careless approach? Now, try to compare these two internet texts on deforestation and analyze which one is likely to be more reliable. Have you decided which one is more reliable? The answer is text number 2. As you can see, it is written in accurate semi-formal language and includes a source. Somehow, it makes it more likely to be a reliable source to use as a source. The last approach to discuss is for you to have critical thinking when reading for your sources. Ask yourself the following questions so you will not just passively accept what you hear or read, but instead you have to actively question and assess it. Okay guys, as you have already learned all the techniques and approaches you can apply in finding relevant sources for your writing, let us now give it a real try. You will need to find 2 relevant articles to write your paragraph, which consists of 10 to 15 sentences about how to fight emotional distress. Remember, your paragraph should have a topic sentence, supporting details, and a concluding sentence. Make sure to use capital letters and punctuation appropriately. So, happy writing everyone!